Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to look at the 5 essential skills that need to be taught during your phonics lessons. More importantly, during your Jolly Phonics lessons. Now, the 5 skills are letter sound, letter formation, blending, segmentation, and tricky words. All right. The first 4 are taught simultaneously. And after you hit group 6, you can begin including your tricky words. These are all included in stage 1 of Jolly Phonics. Okay? Let's look at the first one, letter sound. Now, you do not need to use up time or energy or mental space of your students teaching them the names of these letters. This is not S, S. This is not A, A. This is not T, T. Okay? These sounds are pure sounds. We do not need a schwa sound, S, A, T, I, P, N. We're going to keep it pure, which is synthetic. We're just going to teach the students S, A, T, I, P, N. Keeps it nice and simple and easy for the students to retain the knowledge they need in order to practice the skills that we need. Letter formation is one of those skills. Okay? Letter formation is essential for good handwriting, and also fluid handwriting as you get older and are writing longer words or sentences or passages. If you have the Jolly Classrooms app, it's very useful for this skill. I really enjoy using the app for this skill. Okay? Here's the launch page, and you can hit any of the letters you're using, and you can go to the letter formation part, and it will show you, you hit play on the app, it will show you the correct formation of the sound you're teaching. Okay, so S, S. And you can hit it a few times and repeat as many times as required. I then ask the students to raise the hand they used to do their writing with and do some air writing. Okay, that means they're going to follow the shape of the letter in the air and get used to the shape of the letter. Even if they're not ready for proper pencil grip yet, the very youngest of learners can start doing this. And I often encourage them to chant the formation. Now, the chant you use is not essentially, isn't that important. I just try and keep it sticky. So for example, I would encourage my students to go around and over, over, or maybe over, under, under. You can pick whatever's easiest for you in your class to remember. If you're in an ESL environment, you may wish the chant to be in the native language, because the actual chant is not essential. It's the stickiness of it, helping them remember the shape of that letter. You can then go to the next section, and if you have an interactive whiteboard or a touch screen device, the students can actually drag the arrow through the shape pattern, okay? And they're able to physically draw the shape, and the arrow helps assist keep the writing correct. And you can erase that and start again. Do it as many times as needed. Invite students to come up and play with it. It's very engaging, and it's much more engaging than simply doing it on paper. You could also do it in sand, you could do it in clay, you can do it in many ways, but this is just an easy solution. Here's an example for the A sound. I'd say around, up and down. Do it a few times, yeah? Around, up and down. And then of course, you would go to the draw function, ask them to produce it. Around, up and down. You can erase that. It goes away and do it again. Around, up and down. Now, one really important skill here, if you want to be good at this, is to use mirror writing. If you notice, this looks correct to you, around, up and down. And if you're right-handed, I will be mirroring you exactly. I'm actually using my left hand and I'm doing it backwards. More on that in another video. Right, so we've done well there. You've now given them a sound, the formation of that sound. They have other sounds they've already learnt. They need to immediately learn to blend those sounds together. This is very important. We are not just teaching them letter sounds one after the other until they've done all 42 and then we start reading. We don't need to do that. You get them blending immediately. As soon as you have 2 or 3 letter sounds in the bank, yeah, you can start doing that. And again, the Jolly Classrooms app's really good for this. it shows you how to blend the sounds together.
S, at, sat,
At,
sat,
sat. Okay, at, sat. You can use point and say. Have the students point to sounds and say them as quickly as possible. At, at. Okay, you don't have to restrict yourself to 2 or 3 letter words. Be creative, be adventurous, be brave. Try longer words. This has got a cluster at the end. It's no more challenging than any of the other words they're learning.
r, s, t, rest,
Rest.
r, s, t,
Rest.
rest.
Okay? Once the children start understanding this function, they start doing it independently, quite quickly. Now, segmentation. This is really important. This is about students' abilities to hear a word, count how many sounds they're hearing, and then relate that to the letter sounds they know. Okay? I think that letter sound counting is one of the most fundamental skills. Okay? Really early on, even before I begin any phonics product, any phonics syllabus, I will practice very, very young learners to start counting sounds out, counting on their fingers, tapping on their shoulders. I do have other videos on that. Let me give you an example. This is from the Jolly Classrooms app again. So you listen, the children will count how many sounds they're hearing, yeah? And then they will drag the sounds that relate to the sounds they counted. It's very straightforward.
At,
At, at. You say, where's the a? Where's the t? And it goes green. At. To show we've got the right word. At.
Sat.
Oh, at.
sat,
At.
sat,
Yeah. So the students know they're looking for 3 letter sounds. They've counted sat, at. They know they're looking for 3 letters to complete the word they've just heard. Okay? This skill can be practiced. All of these skills need recycling. You need to recycle them every lesson, every day. Especially if you're in an ESL environment, you need to double down on how much review you do. Don't just wait until phonics class. Do this in the morning circle time. Do this during your English class. Do this during any session where you've got an extra 5 or 10 minutes to review these skills with them. Okay? And then finally, tricky words. Now, once you've got to the sh sound, which is in group 6, you're into digraphs and diphthongs, the kids have a good number of sounds in the bank, you've reviewed them regularly, everybody's nice and confident with their blending skills, with their segmentation skills, we're putting words into context, they're really developing now. You start teaching tricky words. Tricky words are words that do not necessarily follow the phonic rules. Part of the word may, and part of the word may not. Okay, I have a video all about this, but the general idea is you say a word or you show the word and you say to the students, what does that read? According to the sounds I've taught you, h, he. You go, oh, that's not right. It's he. He is a boy. It's not he is a boy. And you have a bit of a giggle, you laugh about it. And then you ask them, well, let's count that out. E. You segment it. And you say, which part of this word is being tricky? I mean, he. With a that's not tricky. We know Oh, it's the e. It's not saying it's saying e, as in e or. Tricky word, you can't trick me. And there's another one, she. It's not she. You identify the tricky part, maybe circle, underline the bit that works, sh. And then becomes e. You circle that maybe and you say, tricky word, you can't trick me. And you put it into context and you practice writing it and spelling it. You put it on the wall and you give them some examples of how the word's used in a sentence. Okay? And it's basically that simple. You work through this process, you do it regularly, lots of review, lots of consolidation work, lots of assessing to make sure that your kids are on the correct pacing, and you'll find in a very short period of time your students can read and write wonderfully.